Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video. Steam is running some awesome deals right now, and I want to take a look at the best game deals under the price of $5. So these are available directly on Steam. It's nothing that's available on other third-party e-tailers, although I always recommend Green Man Gaming, Games Planet. They're great spots. Fanatical, etc., etc. They're all good spots. Humble, of course, great spots to buy games, and a lot of them have Steam keys and whatnot. But these are available directly on Steam themselves, and all of these deals under the price of $5. So let's just get right into it. Want to kick things off with Batman Arkham Origins, which is 75% off for $4.99. This is a part of the Warner Brother Games publisher sale, which we have a couple games from that sale on this video. This is actually done by WB Games Montreal and Splash Damage. If you're not familiar with WB Montreal, they recently put out Gotham Knights. Yes, WB Montreal did work on an Arkham game as well. The prequel to Batman Arkham Asylum. Arkham Origins, while I wouldn't say it was as strong as the main three Arkham titles, I would still say it's a pretty damn good game. Now, if memory serves me correctly, when this game came out on PC, it wasn't the greatest PC port of all time, to say the least, but at this point, it's a lot better, and I would still say it's a worthwhile game. Go into it not at the expectation level of the other Arkham games, but it's still a fairly good game, and for $4.99, I think it's a solid pickup, and a game that's often forgotten about, to be perfectly honest, given that, you know, the Arkham titles with Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight, those are the ones that people really talk about. Arkham Origins kind of falls to the wayside, but still, for $4.99, I think it's very much worth playing. Next up, we have Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor, 75% off for the Game of the Year edition for $4.99. I'm not a big Lord of the Rings guy or anything like that, but I played Shadow of Mordor and absolutely loved it. I think the gameplay in this game is incredibly satisfying, incredibly stylish, and just, you know, again, satisfying to play. Like, as an action game, it plays really well. The open world isn't enormous comparative to some of the open worlds we get these days, but I think it's enough, and, you know, I'm a fan of smaller scale open worlds, and Shadow of Mordor has that, but still with a sizable amount of content. I imagine most of you guys have already picked this up, but if you haven't, $4.99 is a great price for it, and of course, go play Shadow of War after Shadow of Mordor. Next up, we have Mad Max, 75% off for $4.99. Now, this game had the unfortunate fate of being released on September 1st of 2015, the same day as a little game called Metal Gear Solid 5, and when you talked about, you know, open world games coming out on the same day, yeah, MGS5, given that it was from a long-running franchise, was going to take the bulk of the attention, but Mad Max turned out to be a pretty solid game in its own right. The story got pretty compelling by the end. I thought the gameplay here was pretty good. And the open world, while it is barren, I mean, it's set in the desert, it's still pretty solid. There are a lot of vehicular combat, and combat in general is pretty good. Visually and performance-wise, this game is tremendous. I remember when this game came out. I think I remember running this game on, like, it was either a GTX 750 or a 950 at the time, a low-end GPU, and it was running, like, insanely well, and I was just taken aback. I was like, wow, this game is really well optimized. Obviously, at this point, like, you know, your PC is going to be able to crush this game, no problem. It is Steam Deck verified, as are the other games that I've mentioned in this video, so you can play it on that platform as well. But Mad Max $4.99, good price on this. Too bad we'll never get a sequel. What can you do? Next up, we have Valiant Hearts: The Great War, 75% off for $3.74. This is a Ubisoft game, and one of the more interesting games that Ubisoft has ever put out. Artistically, this game is awesome. An emotional narrative attached to it as well. It's told in a very unique way. The story of four crossed destinies and a broken love in a world torn apart. Dive into a 2D animated comic book adventure mixing exploration, action, and puzzles. Lost in the middle of the trenches, play as each of the four strangers that relived the war. Very unique game from Ubisoft. I wish they would do more titles like this. I believe this is getting a sequel, but it might be like a Netflix-only title or something like that. Don't quote me on that, but $3.74 for Valiant Hearts: The Great War is great. Definitely check that out. Next up, we have Shadow Tactics: Blades of the Shogun. Now, if you know me, you know that strategy tactics titles aren't my cup of tea. There are titles I enjoy. Love me some XCOM 2. Love me some XCOM Enemy Unknown. Shadow Tactics right up with there, and it's coming from Mimimi Games, who unfortunately recently shut down after they just put out another game recently that was received really well, Shadow Gambit, and yeah, unfortunately, you know, game development be a hard game to be in, so that's super unfortunate. But Shadow Tactics, they did a great job with this tactical stealth game in the Edo period, and the Edo period is something that I feel like hits home with a lot of people. Like, I feel like people love that setting, and Shadow Tactics does a good job. Pretty engaging as well. Difficulty options are there, so if you want to play it easier, you can do that as well. If you just want to go through it a little bit simplified, there is a demo available, but game itself is a great tactics title, so definitely go check that out, especially at this price point of $3.99. There's also a standalone expansion that is available, but obviously you don't get that for $4. Next up, we have SteamWorld Dig 2. This is 80% off for $3.99. You know, the competition in the Metroidvania market is absolutely disgusting in terms of how many high-quality games there are. With your Dead Cells of the world, with your Hollow Knights of the world, you know, those games are incredibly popular. You've got, you know, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. You've got Guacamelee, which is an excellent game that doesn't get its shine. And SteamWorld Dig 2, very much like that, where it's an excellent and well-made Metroidvania that just does not get a lot of love. Art style is great. It's a charming game from a dialogue standpoint. Gameplay is solid. And for this price point of $3.99, it's really, really good. This game got really solid reviews as well. I remember, I think it was IGN gave it a 10 out of 10, 85 on Metacritic, just really well received, overwhelmingly positive on Steam as well across the 3,300 reviews, but yeah, only 3,300 reviews for a game that critically was received as well as it was, but yeah, that's game development sometimes. You can drop a high-quality game like this and still, you know, it doesn't resonate at the level of some of the other Metroidvanias, but still a solid game. $4, great pickup there. Next up, we have This War of Mine, 80% off for $3.99. I would recommend you to get the Complete Edition bundle. That is $4.63, so literally 63 cents, and you get the little ones as well, and the Season Pass, the Story Season Pass. This is a game that is very dark and grim, but that's 11-Bit Studios for you. They put out Frostpunk as well, working on Frostpunk 2, and it's a story of war that really puts a grim reminder of what war is. Instead of your typical war story where you do play as an elite soldier that can obliterate everything in their path, no, you play as civilians. They're trying to survive in a war-torn city. You've got a lack of food, medicine, etc., etc., and survival is the name of the game here. It's an incredibly compelling and atmospheric game. I highly recommend you to try it out. At $3.99 or $4.63, I would strongly recommend it. Like, it's a game that I feel like everybody should have in their library. Next up, Hotline Miami 1 and 2. $1.99 and $2.49, or excuse me, $2.24 for Hotline Miami 2. I mean, totally the polar opposite of This War of Mine. This is a no-nonsense, over-the-top action shoot-'em-up that's a throwback to old-school titles, high-octane, fast-paced, and very much a retro vibe as well. Hotline Miami is a great time, and a game that you can also always pop in, although it is kind of gruesome, so yeah, maybe not for everybody, but definitely a fun time. Next up, we have The Walking Dead Season 1, 75% off for $3.74. Now, obviously, if I was to make a recommendation, I would recommend the Telltale Definitive Series. If you are trying to get Walking Dead, that'll include Season 1, 2, 3, 4, Michonne, 400 Days, all the content for $12.49. You know, Season 1 is the pinnacle of Telltale. I always say 1A, 1B alongside Wolf Among Us. I can't decide which one's better, but Walking Dead Season 1 was tremendous, and I played it when it came out, and by the end of it, and your boy at a young age was tearing up towards the end. It's just an incredibly emotionally engaging game, and I highly recommend everybody to try out the Walking Dead Telltale series. The Season 2 is great as well, and I would recommend you to play that. The subsequent seasons I don't think are as strong as Seasons 1 and 2, but they're still fairly good, and I would still recommend you to play them. But Season 1 and 2 I thought were tremendous, especially Season 1 I thought was just fantastic. Lastly, I do want to give a shout to Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Conviction, 75% off for $4.99. Obviously, this goes through Ubisoft service as does Valiant Hearts. I enjoyed Splinter Cell Conviction. Is it as good as Blacklist and some of the other titles? Probably not, but Conviction's still a worthwhile game to go through. Very, very short. Like, this is a game you can complete very quickly, and I remember that being a talking point when the game initially came out way back when. But Splinter Cell is a franchise that does not get the love it deserves these days from Ubisoft. I know there's a remake in development. Hopefully we get that before, you know, my time on this earth does end. But nonetheless, Conviction, $4.99, good price on that. But that'll do it for me. Again, a lot of great deals under the price of $5 on Steam. Links to everything, as always, in the description box down below. That's going to do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.